Pre-algebra lesson 73, right circular cylinders. Okay, so before we start talking about right circular cylinders, we got a review on circles. Okay, so remember, a circle is composed of a circular line. There's the center point. Any point from the center to the edge is a radius. So right here, this radius is 2, and the diameter would be the line that goes from end to end and passes through the center, or the diameter would be made out of 2 radiuses. Not radiuses, radii, right? So right here, this would be a diameter, and the length of the diameter is always double the radius. So this diameter would be 4, and vice versa. If we know the diameter is 4, the radius is always half the diameter, so the radius would be 2. Okay. Now, for area of the circle, we should know the formula pi r squared. To find the area, so that's 3.14 times the radius squared. And then for the circumference of a circle, we should know pi times diameter, which is 3.14 times the length of the diameter. Great. Now we've got all that out of the way, let's talk about right circular cylinders. So I have a right circular cylinder right here. Okay. So it's kind of nice to see the 3D object every now and again. And we can see a right circular cylinder is composed of a circle on the bottom, circle on the top, and curved rounded sides, right? So the volume for right circular cylinders pretty straightforward. We find the area of the circle, and then we multiply it by the length of the cylinder, and we have the volume. Volume's pretty easy, right? And that follows the formula area of the base times the height, right? So if we find the shape of the base is a circle, we find the area of the circle multiplied by the height of the cylinder, we have the volume. Now, the main formula that I've had you guys memorize for surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height, right? So 2 times the area of the base for the surface area will give us 1 area, 2 area, right? We've got 2 flat surfaces. The hard part usually becomes, how in the world do I figure out the area of this curved side? Now, if we still follow perimeter times height, that will still work for the curved side, right? So if we look at this, the perimeter would be a circle, right? Or the circumference of the circle, that would be the perimeter. If we multiply that by the height, that would give us the height. Now, how does that actually get us the surface area? Because it's curved? Well, I can show you with this piece of paper. So if I were to wrap this piece of paper around, well, actually I am, not if. As I wrap this piece of paper around the circle, notice that it covers, oops, a little crooked, it covers the surface area of the curved side of the circle, right? So here, the perimeter, or the circumference of the base, would be this edge of the paper, right? And then the height would be the distance from here to here on the paper. Now, if we were to cut the edge or the surface area off of the cylinder, we would peel the circumference back, and it would create the shape of a rectangle, and the rectangle would have a length or a base, which would be the same distance as the circumference, and the height would be the same height. So even though we're doing circumference times height, the circumference acts as the base of this rectangle, and the height would be the height. So we're just finding the area of a rectangle. So that's how we can still use perimeter times height to find the surface area of the cylinder. Okay, so we'll go ahead and act out these 2 formulas. That way we can kind of get a hands-on or an applied approach to everything that I just described. Okay, so let's start with an example cylinder. Let's say our example cylinder has a terrible circle. Nope, try it again. A little bit better, kind of ovalish, right? So there's the center, and let's say we got a radius of 3, and we'll say the height is, what's the height going to be? 20. Yes, height of 20. So there's our example cylinder. We're going to find the volume and surface area. Okay, so starting with volume, to do area of the base times the height. The base is a circle. If the top has a radius of 3, even though they don't give me the bottom, I know the bottom also has a radius of 3 because it's a right cylinder. Okay? If it were a cone, it might be different, but it's not. So the area of the base is going to be 3.14 times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9, and again I have to do the 3 squared first because of PEMDAS. So now I end up doing 3.14 times 9, and that gives me 28.26, and volume is always cubed, so that's 28.26 units cubed. Right? That's my volume. Now let's talk about the surface area. So remember, surface area, I have to do 2 times the area of the base plus perimeter times height. Good thing for me, oh wait, whoops, oh no, stop the video. How many of you know what I just did wrong? I never finished area of the base times the height. I did area of the base and I never multiplied by the height. So let's go ahead and erase that. What was I thinking? Okay, sorry. This 28.26 is just the area of the base. Man, I tried to quit at step 1. Okay, so this is the area of the base. Now I have to take this, multiply it by the height of 20. So I'll go ahead and kick that 0 off to the side, bring it down out here. 2 times 6 is 12, 5, and 16, and 5. So now I add my 2 decimals. The actual volume is 565.2 units cubed. Okay, that's more like it. I thought that number was small. 565.2 units cubed. That's the volume. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've got the volume. Now let's go to the surface area. So the first thing in the surface area is we see 2 times the area of the base. Lucky for us, I already found the area of the base right here. Okay, because the area of the base is pi r squared, 3.14 times 9, so I can reuse this number. And I'm going to do 2 times that number. So take 28.26, multiply it by 2. I get 12, greater than 1, 4, 5, 16, and 5 again. 2 decimal places, 56.52. So that is 2 times the area of the base. Now I need to add that to the perimeter times the height. So the perimeter is going to be the other formula for circumference, which is pi times diameter. Since I know the radius is 3, then the diameter must be 6. So I go over here and I'm going to do 3.14 times 6, and I get 24, 6, 8, and 18.84. Now I multiply that by the height of 20. Again, I'm going to kick that 0 off to the side. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16, 17, and 3, 37, oh whoops, forgot to add that 0 back in. So 376.80. Last step, now that I figured out 2 times the area of the base, and I figured out the perimeter times the height, I add them together. So let's take 376.8, add it, 2, 13, 13, and 13 again, and 4. So I get 433 and 32 hundredths. And that's going to be in units squared. So surface area equals 433.32 units squared. All right, that's it for this lesson. If you guys have any questions, let me know on the school website, and I will see you in class.